Did the Knights Templar secretly safeguard a bloodline that reshaped the course of history? What if their ascent to power was not merely a crusade for riches or faith, but a meticulously crafted mission to protect a legacy older than civilization itself? Hidden within the shadows of history and buried beneath layers of secrecy lies the true story of a lineage with the power to rewrite everything we thought we knew about the Templars. A bloodline that continues to hold untold influence even today. Yet, before diving into such profound revelations, let's pause and take a moment to focus. The Templars, enveloped in mystery and legend, were far more than medieval fighters. They were guardians of a profound secret capable of shaping history in ways most never imagined. Join us as we navigate the intricate labyrinth of this forgotten heritage and uncover the enigmatic rise and fall of the Templars, their hidden legacy, and the truth behind their mission, wealth, and the sacred bloodline they preserved. The origins of the Knights Templar trace back to the turbulent era of the Crusades, a time marked by religious conflict and territorial ambition. Founded in 1119, the Templars began as a modest group of French knights tasked with a singular purpose: the protection of Christian pilgrims journeying through the perilous routes to the Holy Land. Their initial mission was straightforward and rooted in chivalric duty, a noble vow to safeguard travelers from the dangers that lurked along the pilgrim paths. However, from these humble beginnings, the Order's trajectory soon evolved beyond simple guardianship. Their rapid ascent in power and influence was no coincidence, but the result of strategic planning and an enigmatic purpose. The Templars distinguished themselves not only as fierce warriors on the battlefield, but also as shrewd organizers with a deeply rooted network across Europe and the Middle East. This expansion was facilitated by their establishment of castles, fortresses, and a vast network of resources that reached across borders. Intriguingly, the Templars' operations veered far beyond conventional military pursuits. They rapidly grew into a formidable institution, known for their adeptness in both martial and financial affairs. Their banking system, unprecedented in medieval Europe, allowed nobles and monarchs to deposit funds, secure loans, and conduct transactions, all under the trusted aegis of the Order. Thus, the Templars were not merely soldiers of Christ, but key players wielding immense influence in both spiritual and temporal matters. Yet, amid their outward displays of piety and valor, there lingered a deeper, veiled agenda. Questions have long been raised about what truly drove the Templars' meteoric rise. Was their mission exclusively about chivalric service and religious devotion, or was there an extraordinary, concealed purpose? Numerous scholars and theorists propose that beyond their visible roles, the Templars were custodians of ancient knowledge and sacred legacies, tasked with protecting a secret that could reshape the tapestry of history. This secret, many argue, was intertwined with the preservation of a sacred bloodline, possibly linked to ancient kings and divine rights. Their strategic positioning, from holding territories in the Holy Land to forging alliances with European royalty, suggests an order operating with a purpose far broader than their public mandate. To uncover the true origins of the Knights Templar is to journey beyond the surface of history, into a labyrinth of intrigue where faith, power, and secrecy converge. It calls for a re-evaluation of their role, not just as medieval knights, but as guardians of a profound legacy whose influence extends far beyond the battlegrounds and banking halls. The story of their inception is the foundation upon which centuries of mystery and legend would be built, inviting us to reconsider the very meaning of their existence in the grand narrative of history. The Knights Templar were renowned not only for their martial prowess, but also for their immense wealth and influence across medieval Europe. By the 13th century, they had become one of the richest and most powerful institutions on the continent, amassing vast lands, castles, and estates that stretched from Jerusalem to the heart of Europe and beyond. Their financial operations laid the foundations for early banking systems, offering services unprecedented in their era. Nobles and monarchs alike entrusted the Templars with the safekeeping of their wealth, securing loans, and enabling complex international transactions. This financial empire was more than a mere accumulation of riches. It was a key to the Templars' far-reaching power. Monarchs such as King Philip IV of France relied heavily on Templar funds to support their military campaigns and royal ambitions. But as their coffers swelled and their influence expanded, the order became more than just trusted bankers. They evolved into pivotal players in the political and economic affairs of Europe. The Templars' unique relationship with the Vatican added another layer to their prominence. Granted privileges unavailable to any other organization, the Templars enjoyed a semi-independent status within Christendom. This bond was not purely spiritual. It was a strategic alliance intertwined with mutual interests in wealth, control, and power. Yet, the Templars' wealth was not simply about material gain. It was also deeply connected to the sacred relics and secret knowledge they guarded. Their collections included artifacts believed to hold immense religious and esoteric significance, some linked to the sacred bloodline they were sworn to protect. Among these relics were treasures whose true value transcended gold and gems, embodying hidden wisdom and power that, if revealed, could alter the foundations of authority in the medieval world. Templar fortresses and castles dotted key regions, serving not only as military bastions, but also as centers of influence and protection for their assets and secrets. These strongholds were strategically located along critical trade routes and religious sites, marking the Templars' dominance in both spiritual and temporal realms. However, the extraordinary wealth and power amassed by the Templars sowed seeds of envy and fear among Europe's rulers. Their growing independence and influence were perceived as direct threats to royal authority. King Philip IV of France exemplified this apprehension. His mounting debts to the order, coupled with his desire to assert control, culminated in a campaign to dismantle the Templars and seize their riches. Despite the official narrative of the Templars' downfall being rooted in accusations of heresy and corruption, the true significance of their wealth suggests a more complex motive. Their financial empire was not just a symbol of economic success, but a shield guarding profound secrets that powerful adversaries sought to suppress. In essence, the Templars' wealth was a manifestation of their secret mission, a tool wielded not merely for earthly dominance, but to preserve a legacy entwined with divine authority and hidden truths. Their riches, alliances, and fortresses were all part of a carefully constructed lattice of power designed to protect what was far greater than material wealth. A sacred bloodline whose influence echoes through history even today. The Knights Templar's dramatic fall in the early 14th century remains one of history's most striking events. For centuries, the order had thrived, amassing immense wealth, power, and influence. Yet suddenly, they were betrayed. Their leaders arrested, tortured, executed, and their assets confiscated. This abrupt downfall is often attributed to the greed of King Philip IV of France, who, deeply indebted to the Templars due to loans financing his wars and extravagant lifestyle, sought to seize their vast wealth to alleviate his financial burdens. However, the surface motives barely scratched the complex reality beneath. By the early 1300s, the Templars had evolved from simply serving as bankers to becoming a potent political force, one capable of challenging the authority of King Philip himself. Fearing a loss of power, Philip aimed to dismantle this rising threat. On October 13, 1307, he ordered the mass arrest of the Templars in France, accusing them of heinous crimes such as heresy and blasphemy. Under torture, many confessed, including Jacques de Molay, the Grand Master, who was later executed by burning at the stake. Yet, the evidence against the Templars was suspiciously insubstantial, leading many historians to conclude that the charges were fabricated to justify Philip's power grab. Beyond greed, the king's aggressive campaign likely stemmed from his fear of the Templars' deeper secret, the guardianship of a sacred bloodline that could threaten established royal authority across Europe. This ancient lineage, believed to be connected to the sacred kings of Israel, symbolized a divine right to rule that could undermine monarchies, including Philip's own claim. By destroying the Templars, seizing their wealth, and executing their leadership, Philip sought to extinguish this threat and solidify his hold on the throne, ensuring that the powerful secret the Templars protected remained hidden from the world. However, the Templar story did not end with their public destruction. Many believe that survivors went underground, preserving their sacred mission. They are thought to have laid the foundations for later secret societies, such as the Freemasons, which carried forward elements of the Templar legacy in secrecy. Despite the dramatic betrayal and suppression, whispers of the Templars' continued influence have echoed through history, pointing to a clandestine struggle to safeguard a powerful secret far beyond mere wealth or military might. Ultimately, the downfall of the Templars was not just the collapse of a medieval military order. It was a calculated attempt to erase a profound legacy, one intertwined with a sacred bloodline and a secret so potent it threatened the balance of power in medieval Europe. Their betrayal marked the suppression of a truth that, even today, remains veiled in mystery and intrigue. After their abrupt suppression in the early 14th century, the Knights Templar faced a turning point that seemed to mark the end of their storied existence. Yet, beneath the surface of history lies a tantalizing possibility. The Templars did not simply vanish, but instead sought refuge, continuing their clandestine mission from the shadows. Theories abound that following their disbandment, many Templars fled to remote corners of Europe, with Scotland emerging as a prominent sanctuary. Scotland, at that time distant from the volatile politics of continental Europe, provided a discreet haven for these knights. Here, it's believed they blended seamlessly into noble families, integrating their legacy into new bloodlines while nurturing the sacred lineage they had long vowed to protect. The mysterious presence of Templar symbols and fortresses scattered across the Scottish landscape hints at this hidden chapter of their saga. Locations such as Rosslyn Chapel, with its enigmatic carvings and designs linked to Templar mysticism, serve as silent witnesses to their enduring influence. Beyond Scotland, whispers suggest that Templar remnants dispersed throughout other parts of Europe, Spain, Portugal, and Italy among them, maintaining covert networks to safeguard their treasures and secrets. Many of these strongholds, secluded and fortified, likely served as sanctuaries for relics, ancient knowledge, and the precious bloodline under their guardianship. While the official records speak of their eradication, these threads of history weave a different narrative, one of resilience and secrecy. The Templars' exile was not an end, but a transformation, a shift from open knights to shadowy custodians. Through covert operations and alliances, they ensured their mission would persist, hidden from the watchful eyes of monarchs and clergy eager to erase them. In this hidden existence, the Templars continued to influence events subtly, safeguarding a legacy that, centuries later, still sparks intrigue and mystery. Their exile underscores a profound truth. Although displaced, the Templars' commitment to their sacred duty endured, quietly shaping the course of history from the margins and preserving a bloodline whose significance echoes to this day. The Knights Templar were far more than just warriors of the Crusades. They were the devoted guardians of a secret far deeper than mere military conquest or financial ambition. At the heart of their mission lay the protection of a sacred bloodline, one linked to ancient kings and carrying a divine authority that transcended time itself. This bloodline, believed by some to trace its origins back to biblical figures, represented a legacy of power and spiritual significance, one that the Templars were sworn to shield from those who might seek to exploit or erase it. Their rapid rise to prominence and accumulation of vast wealth were not merely the result of battlefield victories or financial acumen, but part of a grand design aimed at safeguarding this sacred lineage. The Templars' role as guardians extended beyond the physical protection of relics and artifacts. They were custodians of hidden knowledge, entrusted with preserving the continuity of a divine heritage. This mission required secrecy and discretion, which explains their cryptic symbols, secret rituals, and strategically located strongholds that were designed not only for defense, but also as sanctuaries for the Bloodlines' legacy. Some theories suggest that the Templars' true allegiance was to this ancient family, whose descendants held the key to divine right and legitimate rule, rather than solely to Christendom's temporal ambitions. By maintaining this sacred trust, the Templars stood as a silent force influencing the course of history, ensuring that the bloodline endured through the ages despite relentless opposition. Thus, understanding the Templars as guardians of a sacred bloodline unlocks a more profound comprehension of their enduring legacy, one that weaves together faith, power, and mystery in a tapestry that continues to captivate and challenge our perception of history. The Holy Grail transcends simple legend, embodying a powerful symbol intertwined with purity and divine favor, captivating the imaginations of scholars and adventurers for centuries. While commonly depicted as the cup from Christ's Last Supper, deeper interpretations suggest the Grail represents far more than a mere artifact. Some theories propose that the Grail is, in fact, emblematic of the Templars' true mission, the safeguarding of a sacred bloodline. Rather than just a physical chalice, it may symbolize the preservation of the royal lineage the Templars were sworn to protect. From their establishment in the Holy Land, the Templars are believed to have guarded sacred sites, and during excavations beneath Solomon's temple, they might have uncovered not just relics, but the very essence of the Grail's deeper meaning. The exact nature of the Grail's connection to the Templars remains a profound mystery. Certain interpretations argue that the Grail embodied a hidden truth about the bloodline of Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene. Charged with protecting this lineage, the Templars sought to conceal it from those who would exploit its power. While some view the Templars' guardianship of the Grail as a devout religious responsibility, others suggest a more pragmatic motive. The Grail's power, its secret to divine authority, could have dramatically shifted the balance within the Christian world. The established church, claiming spiritual supremacy, might have perceived this bloodline as a formidable challenge to its authority, rendering the Templars' protection of the Grail mission not only sacred, but politically critical. A particularly compelling aspect is that the Grail's significance may lie in its ability to signify continuity, the continuation of a divine right to rule. The Templars' protection of the Grail was thus not only about a relic, but about preserving a royal bloodline believed to embody divine favor and destined to eventually reclaim its rightful place. Throughout history, Grail lore has inspired tales of knights and heroes embarking on epic quests, often symbolic representations of the Templars' covert efforts to shield this sacred lineage. Modern retellings, popularized by works such as the Da Vinci Code, portray the Grail as a symbol of the bloodline of Christ and Mary Magdalene, echoing many theories about the Templars' true purpose. If the Templars did indeed possess the Grail, or its essence, questions remain about its fate. Some scholars speculate the Grail was spirited away by the Templars during their suppression, hidden in secret locations across Europe. Places like Rinlateau or the Scottish Highlands are often cited as possible sanctuaries. Others propose that the Grail might not be a physical object at all, but rather encoded genealogical records or other forms of hidden legacy tied to the bloodline. Whether an artifact, a secret tome, or a metaphor for a lineage, The Holy Grail remains an enduring emblem of the Templars' deepest mission, the protection and preservation of a sacred bloodline that could alter the course of history. The mystery of the Grail continues to fuel fascination, offering a symbolic key to unlocking the true nature and purpose behind the enigmatic legacy of the Knights Templar. The Knights Templar are renowned not only for their martial prowess and spiritual dedication, but also for the layers of secrecy woven throughout their symbols and architecture. These elements were far more than mere decoration. They served as covert messages, intended to safeguard the profound mysteries the Templars were sworn to protect, especially the sacred bloodline central to their legacy. Known for their mastery in construction, the Templars erected castles, churches, and fortresses across Europe and the Holy Land that were imbued with symbolic significance. These buildings were carefully designed, integrating elements of sacred geometry, an ancient system of mathematical and spiritual proportions believed to reflect the fundamental order of the universe. The precise use of these geometrical patterns in their structures suggested that the Templars were preserving esoteric knowledge through architectural form, encoding secrets meant only for the initiated. A prime example lies in structures like Rosslyn Chapel in Scotland, which is adorned with intricate carvings and symbols linked to Templar iconography and sacred geometry. Such symbolism was not coincidental. It was a deliberate attempt to communicate hidden truths about their mission and the bloodline they guarded. The selection and placement of these symbols functioned as encrypted guides, potentially holding keys to unlocking the Templars' true purpose. Among their most iconic emblems is the Templar seal featuring two knights astride a single horse. Traditionally interpreted as a symbol of brotherhood and humility, some scholars propose a deeper meaning, that it represents the dual nature of the Templar mission, outwardly as devout soldiers of Christ, and covertly as custodians of an ancient, sacred bloodline. This duality is echoed in many aspects of their symbolism and ritual, underscoring the layered complexity of their purpose. Furthermore, the Templars' distinctive red cross was more than a religious insignia. It symbolized divine authority and the sacred trust placed upon them. Its presence adorned their banners, armor, and artifacts, uniting them visually under the banner of a higher cause linked to the divine right of kings, a cause tied to the very lineage they protected in secret. These symbols and codes extended beyond mere religious or chivalric representation. They likely served as a sophisticated system of communication, offering encrypted messages passed down through generations of Templars and their successors. This ensured that the knowledge and secrets critical to their mission could survive persecution and suppression. Intriguingly, these coded messages are suspected to be embedded not just in isolated artifacts, but throughout their architectural legacy, ritualistic practices, and even manuscripts. They form an interconnected tapestry of esoteric wisdom, a subtle language pointing to a concealed history. Deciphering these symbols offers tantalizing possibilities to uncover the deeper truths about the Templar mission, a mission far greater than conventional history has acknowledged. Today, these symbols continue to captivate historians, scholars, and enthusiasts alike, inviting ongoing exploration and interpretation. Whether the carvings in remote chapels or the seals adorning ancient documents, the Templars' hidden messages remain an enduring testament to their elusive legacy. They beckon us to look beyond the surface, challenging us to unlock the mysteries of a profound guardianship that has persisted quietly through centuries. In the end, the enigmatic symbolism of the Knights Templar is more than historical curiosity. It is the coded heartbeat of a secret order tasked with protecting a sacred heritage. Their architecture and emblems serve not just as relics of the past, but as guardians of truths waiting to be fully revealed, promising insights into a bloodline and legacy that could reshape our understanding of history itself. The legacy of the Knights Templar extends far beyond their medieval origins. Many believe that their sacred bloodline continues to exist in the world today, quietly influencing events from behind the scenes. Though the order was officially dissolved centuries ago, whispers persist that descendants of the Templar bloodline live among us, carrying forward an ancient mission shrouded in secrecy. These supposed descendants are thought to be scattered across various spheres of power, politics, finance, culture, where their influence subtly shapes the course of history. Far from being widely recognized, many may be unaware of their lineage, their true heritage hidden beneath layers of time and obfuscation. This concealed legacy raises fascinating questions about how deeply the Templars' sacred mission might still impact modern society. The concept of modern-day Templar heirs is closely connected to secret societies, particularly the Freemasons. Widely regarded as spiritual successors to the Templars, Freemasons preserve many symbols, rituals, and codes believed to trace back to the ancient order. This suggests that the responsibility to protect the bloodline, as well as the hidden knowledge associated with it, may have been passed down through generations of initiates working discreetly within these organizations. Symbols long associated with the Templars, the all-seeing eye, the compass, the square, are ubiquitous in the halls and iconography of Masonic lodges around the world, hinting at a continuation of influence and guardianship that transcends centuries. Additionally, other secret groups like the Rosicrucians have been linked to Templar traditions, reinforcing the notion of a hidden network dedicated to maintaining the sacred legacy. Beyond secret societies, some theorists propose that influential families throughout history, and even today, could be descendants of the Templar bloodline. These families, whether knowingly or unknowingly, may carry the inherited power of a lineage intertwined with ancient royal blood and divine right. Their presence across continents, from European aristocracy to prominent modern figures, suggests the bloodline's reach is global and enduring. Such theories raise profound questions. Could these descendants be quietly steering political or economic currents? Is their influence part of a conscious effort to protect a fragile legacy? And if so, what would discovery mean for the established world order? Regardless of skepticism, the idea that the Templar bloodline still survives, and that its guardians continue their mission in the shadows, adds a compelling layer to our understanding of history. This legacy challenges us to consider how the past's secrets might shape our present and future, with the descendants of a sacred lineage quietly living among us, continuing a story that spans millennia. The Priory of Shaun emerges as a shadowy continuation of the Knights Templars' sacred mission, carrying forth the responsibility to protect the elusive bloodline that the Templars once guarded. This secret society, shrouded in mystery and often intertwined with legend, is said to have been established as early as the 11th century, predating the Templars themselves, and is thought by some to be the hidden heir to their purpose. The Priory story captured widespread attention through popular culture, most notably in works like the Da Vinci Code. There, it is depicted as the custodian of the descendants of Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene, a bloodline kept concealed from history's public eye by intertwining religious and political powers over centuries. Though the novel is fictional, it draws inspiration from alleged historical documents, primarily the Dossier's secrets, which claim that the Priory's founding in 1099 coincided with the fervor of the First Crusade, and that its core mission was to shield this sacred lineage. Far from being entirely separate, theories propose that the Priory of Shaun and the Knights Templar shared a common, clandestine purpose: the protection and preservation of a divine bloodline intertwined with Europe's royal houses. After the Templar suppression in the early 14th century, it is believed that the Priory carried the torch, safeguarding the genealogical and spiritual legacy alongside sacred relics associated with this lineage. The Priory purportedly operated behind the scenes, influencing noble alliances and political transitions, ensuring the continued survival and eventual resurgence of this bloodline. The authenticity of the priory remains a subject of intense debate. While many scholars dismiss it as a fabrication stemming from modern conspiracy theories or hoaxes, others argue that even if the priory's details are obscured by myth, its existence symbolizes the enduring nature of the Templar mission. Its alleged members, renowned historical figures such as Leonardo da Vinci and Isaac Newton, reflect the society's purported influence on the course of European intellectual and political history. Central to the priory's legend is the belief that they guarded not just material treasures, but the very essence of divine authority embodied in this sacred bloodline. In many interpretations, this bloodline is represented metaphorically by the Holy Grail, not merely as a physical relic, but as a symbol of divine legitimacy and power. Thus, the priory's sanctuary of this knowledge posed a formidable challenge to religious and secular authorities striving to control the narrative of power and faith. Ultimately, whether the Priory of Shaun was a distinct organization or a mythical construct, it epitomizes the unresolved enigma surrounding the Templars' secret legacy. This secret society stands as a testament to the possibility that the mission to protect a sacred bloodline persists, hidden in plain sight, quietly shaping history from the shadows, and waiting for its truth to be fully revealed. The story of the Knights Templar extends far beyond their medieval exploits in Europe and the Holy Land, reaching into the mysterious beginnings of the New World. Though officially disbanded in the early 14th century, whispers persist that the Templars did not vanish entirely, but instead carried their legacy across the Atlantic, shaping history in ways few imagine. Centuries following their suppression in Europe, theories suggest that the Templars sought new territories where they could continue safeguarding their sacred mission away from the prying eyes of monarchs and religious authorities. The Americas, then an uncharted wilderness, offered the perfect refuge. Some researchers propose that surviving Templars or their sympathizers may have preceded historical records, possibly journeying across the Atlantic long before Columbus's famed expedition in 1492. Intriguingly, Christopher Columbus himself has been linked by some historians and theorists to the secretive traditions of the Templars or related orders. His voyages, while officially aimed at discovering new trade routes to Asia, might have carried a hidden agenda, establishing footholds in the New World where ancient bloodlines and sacred relics could be preserved and protected. The emblems on his ships, including the Red Cross, recall Templar symbolism, fueling speculation about clandestine ties. Beyond Columbus, narratives abound of Templar influence in the early colonization and exploration efforts of the Americas. Some advocate that the Templars' presence might have been integral to forging connections with indigenous peoples, potentially exchanging knowledge or safeguarding valuable relics that carried both spiritual and political weight. This line of thought contends that artifacts bearing Templar symbols discovered in parts of North and South America hint at an earlier European presence than commonly accepted. Moreover, the profound impact of secret societies rooted in Templar traditions, such as the Freemasons, on the very fabric of the emerging American identity cannot be overlooked. Prominent figures among the Founding Fathers, including George Washington and Benjamin Franklin, participated in Freemasonry, embedding ideals of freedom, equality, and secret knowledge in the nation's founding principles. The use of Templar imagery within Masonic rituals and American symbolism suggests a continuity of influence, linking the spiritual heritage of the Templars to the political landscape of a burgeoning nation. While skeptics question the extent of the Templars' involvement in the New World, the enduring presence of their symbols and legends in American culture speaks to a legacy not easily dismissed. Whether they directly crossed the ocean or inspired those who did, the Templars' mission to protect a sacred bloodline and hidden knowledge may have found fertile ground across the Atlantic. The possibility that the New World became a sanctuary for the Templars' secrets opens a fascinating chapter in their story. It hints at a grand design spanning continents and centuries, with a quest to preserve a hidden bloodline and ancient wisdom transcended borders and time, continuing quietly in the shadows of history. As historians and researchers peel back the layers of this mystery, the influence of the Knights Templar in the Americas remains an enduring enigma, inviting further exploration and discovery. The relationship between the Knights Templar and the Vatican was both complex and pivotal, especially when examining the dramatic suppression of the order in the early 14th century. While the official narrative often frames the downfall of the Templars as a result of greed and political rivalry, particularly King Philip IV of France's desire to seize their wealth, the Vatican's role reveals a more intricate web of motives, encompassing spiritual authority, secrecy, and the protection of powerful truths. At the height of their power, the Templars had amassed vast wealth, built fortresses, and operated an extensive banking network that spanned Europe and the Holy Land. Beyond their material prosperity, the Templars were believed to be custodians of sacred relics and esoteric knowledge, including perhaps the bloodline of Christ and Mary Magdalene, an assertion that, if true, posed a direct challenge to the spiritual authority claimed by the Church. It is suggested that the Vatican, wary of the Templars' growing influence and fearful of the implications of the secrets they guarded, played a crucial role in orchestrating their suppression. The arrest and subsequent trials, which culminated in the execution of the Grand Master Jacques de Molay in 1314, were carried out with Pope Clement V's sanction, revealing the Church's complicity. One theory proposes that the Vatican feared the revelation of the sacred bloodline, as such knowledge could undermine the Church's position as the unchallenged spiritual power in Christendom. The notion that descendants of Jesus Christ might exist, and that the Templars were their protectors, threatened to unsettle the foundation of papal authority. Further intertwining the Vatican's concerns was the alleged possession by the Templars of significant relics, possibly including the Ark of the Covenant. Some historians argue that the Templars had discovered or safeguarded these relics during their tenure in Jerusalem, holdings the Church would have preferred to control exclusively. Consequently, the Church's suppression of the Templars can be understood not merely as a political act, but as a desperate maneuver to control religious narrative and preserve ecclesiastical supremacy. By dismantling the order, the Vatican sought to eliminate a rival power and extinguish the knowledge and bloodline that could destabilize centuries of religious hegemony. Despite this, the Templar legacy persevered in secrecy. Fragments of their knowledge, relics, and perhaps even members survived, safeguarded in cryptic symbols, secret societies, and hidden manuscripts. The Vatican's efforts, while effective in halting their public influence, failed to erase entirely the profound and enduring mystery surrounding the Templars' mission and the sacred bloodline they defended. The narrative of the Knights Templar has long been influenced by historical revisionism, shaped by the agendas of those in power. Over the centuries, rulers, religious authorities, and political forces have manipulated the historical record, altering truths to suit their needs. The dramatic fall of the Templars in the early 14th century at the hands of King Philip IV of France exemplifies this distortion. Charges of heresy, corruption, and blasphemy were likely fabricated to justify the confiscation of their wealth and the eradication of their influence. These allegations became entrenched in the accepted historical account, overshadowing the true nature of the Templar Order and their mission. It wasn't until recent decades that historians began reassessing these narratives, uncovering evidence that challenges the traditional portrayal of the Templars as mere heretics or greedy warriors. Instead, emerging research paints a picture of an order deeply involved in protecting a sacred bloodline, a secret carefully concealed from the public eye for centuries. The Templar story is emblematic of how history can be rewritten or obscured by prevailing powers. Their true purpose, intertwined with guarding a bloodline potentially linked to divine authority, was systematically suppressed to maintain existing political and religious structures. The legacy of the Templars, therefore, is not just a tale of knights and battles, but also one of hidden truths and surviving mysteries. Despite centuries of suppression, the re-evaluation of their history reveals the Templars as more than a medieval military order. They were custodians of an ancient secret, guardians of knowledge and lineage that, if revealed, could profoundly reshape our understanding of history. The ongoing uncovering of their past underscores the influence of historical revisionism and invites us to question the accepted narratives, recognizing that much remains hidden beneath the surface, waiting for discovery. The legacy of the Knights Templar endures far beyond the medieval era, intricately woven into the fabric of modern secret societies, politics, and the continuing mystery of hidden bloodlines. Though the order was officially dissolved centuries ago, their influence persists, echoing through time in ways that remain largely unnoticed by the public. Modern secret societies, most notably the Freemasons, are often regarded as the spiritual heirs of the Templars, with rituals, symbols, and traditions tracing back to the medieval knights. These organizations seem to carry forward the Templar mission, the preservation of ancient knowledge and the protection of sacred legacies. The Masonic symbols such as the compass, square, and all-seeing eye are believed to reflect this covert heritage, signifying a deeper purpose than mere fraternal bonds. Beyond these secret societies, the idea that the Templar bloodline still exists today permeates contemporary thought. Some theorists propose that descendants of this sacred lineage continue to live among us, their identities concealed as they quietly shape the course of history from behind the scenes. Whether embedded within powerful families, political circles, or financial empires, these supposed heirs carry a legacy that connects modern times to an ancient past. The continuation of this bloodline suggests a profound, ongoing mission, one that involves safeguarding knowledge, influence, and authority linked to a divine right that transcends generations. The Templars were not merely protectors of relics or wealth, but custodians of a lineage believed to hold transformative power over the destiny of nations. This enduring legacy invites us to reconsider history, power structures, and the unseen forces that guide global events. As we explore the echoes of the Templars today, we confront the possibility that their story is not confined to history books, but alive in the shadows of our world. Their secrets, preserved through symbols, societies, and perhaps even blood, await revelation, promising to redefine what we understand about heritage, sovereignty, and the true guardianship of knowledge. The Templar legacy, once hidden, now challenges us to uncover the truth and recognize the profound impact this ancient order continues to have on the modern world. The Knights Templar were far more than just a medieval military order. They stood as guardians of a sacred bloodline intertwined with divine authority. Their complex legacy, woven through history with layers of secrecy, wealth, and power, continues to captivate and challenge our understanding of the past. Though their visible presence was dismantled, the mission they upheld, the protection of an ancient lineage and the knowledge it carried, has persisted beneath the surface, guarded through secret societies and hidden symbols. As new evidence and modern inquiries emerge, the potential revelation of the Templars' true purpose promises to redefine history and illuminate the enduring impact of their sacred bloodline. This legacy remains alive, waiting silently for the moment it will finally step into the light and reshape our world's narrative. If you found this deep dive into the Knights Templar and their sacred bloodline captivating, please consider subscribing for more intriguing explorations into history's greatest mysteries. Like and share this content with fellow enthusiasts. and join the ongoing quest to uncover hidden truths that have shaped our world. Your engagement helps keep this search alive. Let's journey together into the secrets waiting to be revealed.